Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, our German Let's Play series in this game, a game that's currently in early access and available on Steam, but just recently released the ability to play the campaign game. And right now the campaign game is pretty limited. You're limited to fighting basically just a war or wars between Great Britain and Germany. Eventually, the game is supposed to include, you know, a whole interwar period where you're building and designing ships, getting your fleet ready for war, managing budgets and things like that. And then when war happens, you go out and you fight it. Right now, it's just the war. We are playing this as Germany. We have 6,000 victory points. The British have just 600, so we're kicking their shit in pretty good. We have 3 battles pending in September of 1890, so it's the 9th month of the war. And it looks like we have a convoy action up here in the North Sea where we're going to be attacking a British convoy that's undefended, but they're going to have a couple of light cruisers race to the support of the convoy here. We're going to have a heavy cruiser and a light cruiser versus 2 British lights. We have a battle off the coast of Hull in northern England here with a British battleship, 2 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser against a battleship of our own, armored cruiser, and then 2 light cruisers. So they have a slight advantage in terms of heavy ships. And then we have an ambush battle that's occurring in the Channel or just off the coast of the Netherlands with 5 of our torpedo boats racing in against 2 British armored cruisers. So we've managed to sneak in close to an enemy armored cruiser task force, and now we can see if our torpedo boats can swing in to defeat these guys. And I think that's what we're going to play first. We're going to go ahead and fight the battle against the armored cruisers first and see what we can manage. We're going to fight that battle. We're not going to auto-resolve, and we're going to see how things go. All right, so we've got ships in a line. I'm going to change that. First off, everybody should be in one group, right? So one of these guys is off screening. So we've got ships in a line. I'm going to go ahead and set them to abreast, so that way they're not taking fire sequentially as they move up the enemy line, but they'll swarm in. And there's also a new avoid torpedo command, which allows ships further back in the line to automatically try to avoid torpedoes if they're under attack rather than continue to follow the leader. So I think that's a nice new feature. I'm curious to see how well it's executed. All right, so here's our torpedo boats. We've got 1 gun on the front here, a swivel mount behind a shield. We have 2 torpedoes in the center of the ship with the sort of control or command tower to the rear, and then some lifeboats apparently, because anyone's getting off this thing. All right, so smoke is spotted to the west, so we're turning toward the smoke. The visibility is, it's daytime. It is rainy, so visibility is less because of the rain with a moderate breeze and moderate waves. So we may not detect the enemy until we're like right on top of them, although we are already somewhat close because it's at ×5 speed instead of 10. You can see the other torpedo boats in the formation here are forming up behind us or trying to get into formation. It's pretty hectic at the moment. I'm going to slow the lead ship down to try and give them some time, but there's no point because we've already spotted one of the enemy ships and we've opened fire on her, an armored cruiser that is turning away from us, I guess. We've got a 2nd armored cruiser up here, which is headed away as well. So the enemy apparently wants nothing to do with our torpedo boat attack as we charge in. Trying to give time for the other torpedo boats to come up. The enemy is shooting back, but at this range, I don't know how effective they're going to be against a small target. We're currently at 2.7 kilometers, so we're outside of torpedo range. Our torpedo range is still 9 kilometers. Their secondaries are firing, but the good news is because it's a stern chase, the one positive of a stern chase is the enemy can't get most of their broadside into action. Our torpedo boats have largely formed up on us. I think that's good enough, so we're going to go ahead and speed up to flank, up to 27 knots. The enemy cruisers can make just shy of 20 knots, so we'll have about a 7-knot advantage, at least until we start taking damage. Our forward gun that we're firing with here is a 3-incher, so it might do a little bit of damage to the enemy, but probably not much. Could start some fires or penetrate a funnel or something. A couple of ricochet hits here. We got a bad angle for this assault. We are down to, what's the range now? 1.8 kilometers, so we've closed the range by almost a kilometer. An overpen and fire on the lead torpedo boat here. Doesn't look like it affects our speed yet. This is very much, feels like very much like a cavalry charge, like one ship to our right, one ship to our right, one ship to our left, charging forward at an enemy that's shooting at us and trying to run away. It's almost like, you know, cavalry charging across a plain. Not a good angle for a torpedo attack, admittedly. We'll adjust course slightly. Okay, we're almost in range. We're at 1.3 kilometers. We'll need to get inside of that since they're heading the opposite direction from us. Looks like the fire is out. So we did take a torpedo, or we did take a hit, but managed that. Meanwhile, we damaged the enemy rudder with one of our 3-inch shells here. That should hinder their ability to dodge our torpedoes, hopefully. We're inside torpedo range now. 0.7 kilometers out. Overpen fire and flooding, that's going to slow us down. So let's turn off here. Let's go ahead and pause for a second. Wait, he's turning the other way? Oh. Alright, so he's turning out of formation because of the bad damage, but that's fine. This guy is in a separate formation as well, so everybody's in their own formation now. Which I'm okay with. Where are the other ships? We're missing one, aren't we? 1, 2, 3. All right. So we're going to lose speed here, considerable speed. We might still be able to get a torpedo shot off. We'll see. We'll try and get our torpedoes into their angle of fire. We'll switch over to aggressive. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to get them into the arc. But at least the enemy's focusing on the wrong targets. Because this torpedo boat's going to come up alongside. Alright. So I want to keep shooting at that one torpedo boat. My other guys can come in here. They got one torpedo away. I'm going to fire a second. It's a terrible angle, by the way. It's like a 90-degree angle. The enemy's going to turn away and miss. Fuck. So the enemy did maneuver away. Let's pull that torpedo boat out. Whoa, that was a long-ass shot. You're wasting your fish. You're set to normal. Why are you firing at such long range? All right, let's turn your firing off. Because we now had 3 fish wasted. So down to real time. Have this torpedo boat turn in. So what, 3 of our torpedo boats have either been knocked out of the fight or fired their fish. Oh, we do have reloads. I forgot. Okay. Okay. All right. Torpedoes are turned off for you at the moment. I want to close the range a bit. All right, set to normal. So one fish is away at very close range. They're both away, actually. 2 torpedoes hit that heavy cruiser. Is it going to sink it? Yes. All right. So the lead enemy, or the rear enemy heavy cruiser, is sinking with 2 fish, the Duke of Edinburgh. Let's go ahead and reload these guys. Completely forgot. This is the first time I've ever played with a torpedo boat that has torpedo reloads. I've never designed one with reloads. Okay. Trying to close with TBS 7. Torpedoes are shut off at the moment. God, it looks like the enemy cruiser's almost staying still with such a speed advantage. Of course, once we get in the firing arc of that broadside of secondary batteries, not going to be a great day. Over pen and fire. Over pen and fire. I just don't think... Oh, fire funnel. That's going to slow us down. All right, set to normal. 2 torpedoes are out. Is it gonna miss? It is gonna miss. He managed to avoid them. Good news for S3 though, because he's gonna bleed off a lot of his speed here. Oh shit, we're going bow on. 1 fish, 2 fish away. Both hit on the front of the ship. Alright, we'll bring these guys in who have reloaded their fish. Oh, this guy never fired. Blake is gonna... He may sink from those bow hits. If not, TB S9 should be able to finish him off. Switch over to normal. Dead in the water pretty much. Flotation is... Looks like they're going to manage to save the ship at least until TBS 9 comes in. They're basically dead in the water at this point, though. So it should make for an easy torpedo shot. 1 fish away. 2 fish away. Blake's dead in the water. Hit on the bow and stern. And Blake is sinking. So there's a victory for us. 2 enemy armored cruisers down. We didn't lose a single torpedo boat. Yeah, the torpedo boats may look a little large. But 1,200 victory points to just 1 for the enemy. 2 ships sunk. The enemy lost almost 8, well, over 800 crew, and another victory. Okay. So the enemy fleet suffers a defeat. They're down from 13 to 11 armored cruisers. Victory points are over 7,000 for us to under 700 for them. Now we have this convoy battle here. We'll go ahead and fight this. And apparently we're already engaging the enemy ships. All right. These guys have any guns? Doesn't look like it. These look like unarmed merchants, which is good for us. Like, some of the spawns in the battle are kind of funny. Let's get this light cruiser, which has a broadside of like 7 4-inch guns here. 13 total. In action. The Saxony's going to turn and get her broadside into action. Only making 6 knots, really? All right. Over pen on the lead transport. Let's speed things up a little bit, because shooting unarmed merchants doesn't need to happen in real time. I don't want to waste my torpedoes on these guys. All right, so there's 7 of these merchants, right? All right. So this lead transport should be done pretty quick. Floats down to 30. Whole bunch of fires and structural damage. Switch the armored onto the second ship in line. I'm assuming that latest flood hit will be enough to sink her. Maybe not. All right, now she's going down. So we'll switch to the second ship in line. Nice. That was a lot of flooding real fast. CL will switch its target. Saxony, you're going to turn around and come up. All right, so we're going to get a full broadside of rapid firing 4 inchers into the side of the Wayfarer. Whippet, meanwhile, is going to... Wayfarer sinks due to extensive fire. That was fast. Whippet has apparently managed to maintain its flooding and is pumping some of that water out in one of these compartments here. You can see right here they pump this compartment out. But the armored cruiser will finish it off in due time. I don't want to get the CL too far out ahead of the CA, so I'm going to turn here. I think these are the rest of the transports. I'm curious to see what the victory points look like with this most recent patch where they're saying they fixed it. Alright, Violet is taking a little bit of damage, not much. We're not really the best part of our ship shooting at it yet. Okay. We're going to wreck it there with a broadside of 4 inchers here. Look at that. 7 hits. She's sinking. That was fast. We'll switch to the Oriole. Whippet is sinking now too. So she's going to fire on Oriole also. Don't get rammed. Wow. A lot of point blank hits on the non-Perel. There you go. She's going to sink almost immediately. All right, the Oriole is still hanging in there, but probably not for long. And then I think the Skillful is the last of the enemy merchants. I think that'll be all 7, and then it's just a matter of finding the enemy CLs or CAs or whatever that are coming up to help. Good gunnery and target practice here for these crew members. All right, she sinks, and now it's on to the final enemy ship here, the Skillful. All right, enemy warships are firing on me. I haven't spotted them yet, but their reinforcements are on the way. You can see the shell fire incoming. Skillful's turning away. She's got a fire on her bow. Speed up to 15 knots. All right, there's the enemy CL here. I want to say they got 6 inchers. They got pretty good sized guns on them. I was hoping to finish off the Skillful here. Looks like my armored cruiser has switched its fire to the CLs. My CL is still targeting the enemy transport or merchant. These are both enemy protected cruisers here. Now they have oversized guns on their hulls, really. So I think that increases the likelihood of flash fires. We see a lot of flash fires on CLs in this game. Just got a penetration here on the dispatch. They're still out of torpedo range. Switch that to normal torpedo fire, I guess. Skillful is pretty much dead in the water. Penetration, fire, and flooding. Skillful just took a hit. Oh shit, my cruiser, I didn't even think I was shooting at the enemy merchant, but it looks like the armored cruiser decided to fire a torpedo. I think that's gonna miss. Alright, meanwhile we're battering the lead enemy CL. He's just at the edge of torpedo range, can't effectively shoot at targets moving away at that range. Meanwhile, he's getting plastered here. Or she's getting plastered, however you want to refer to them. Or it. Alright, dispatch is in trouble. Let's fire the skillful here. I feel like a couple of salvos here from that broadside should finish the skillful off. I'm gonna turn around that way. Meanwhile, Saxony is just obliterating dispatch. She's about to sink, and she does. So we got one enemy CL. The Adventure is the only remaining enemy warship left. Skillful is hanging in there, taking a lot of damage, a lot of punishment. Would it be better to run from the cruisers? Why would I want to run? I mean, the AI maybe. They're definitely outgunned. But I've certainly won battles in worse situations than the AI is in here. I think the key is just going, you know, helter-skelter for the enemy with a torpedo strike at this era in the game, which kind of feels like what they're trying to do. All right. The enemy's totally going to fire a torpedo at me. But oh, mission accomplished. All right, fishes away for the enemy. I'm surprised they haven't shot at me yet. Maybe they haven't, I just haven't seen it yet. The Adventure is in trouble. Saxony's coming to help with its slower speed and accurate gunnery. Fish is on the way. Is it going to hit or are they going to avoid it? It's going to be close. Boom! This game probably needs to do a better job of giving having duds occur and factoring that in based on the angle on the bow and things like that. Because that is a terrible, that would be a glancing blow. Very likely for that torpedo in real life to not detonate. But in the game, they always detonate if they hit the hull, so that would be something I would hope they would work on. I can end the battle, I guess, because I already won the battle by sinking 100% of the enemy transports. But I'd like to go for the remaining cruiser. It's in bad shape, especially with that torpedo hit. I'm honestly surprised. Usually the AI is very aggressive at firing its torpedoes, so the fact it didn't fire is kind of surprising. We'll stay outside of torpedo range here from the enemy and just batter it into submission. They're basically dead in the water. Deploying smoke, but it doesn't matter. Floats down under 5%. Or it shouldn't matter. We did suffer some flooding damage here on the München, so they did do some damage there. But too little too late as the München takes damage to all three of its engines. All right, so a victory there. München takes a minor damage, 1,400 victory points for us against 5 of them. 7 merchants sunk, 2 light cruisers sunk. Take a look at ship stats here. 25 XP gain for both of our warships, NA for everybody else because they all died. There we go. And another victory for the might of German arms. 701 victory points, so you can see the transport sunk, provides 701 victory points for us. 1,400 total, I guess. And you can see we're up to almost 10,000 versus 600. And now we have that bigger battle coming between our battleship, their battleship, our armored cruiser, their 2 armored cruisers, and our 2 CLs and their 1 CL. So that's what's next. Meanwhile, the British fleet is down to 15 CLs, 11 CAs, 6 BBs, and 24 TBs. We have 6 BBs, 7 CAs, 9 CLs, and 12 TBs. Let's fight. Remember, the battleship design that we used in this game is an undersized battleship. They have 9-inch main guns, sort of based loosely off the historical German pre-dreadnoughts of this era, with the exception of the Deutschland class. The Brandenburg class. Those are set to follow. I'd rather have the battleship and the CA form a battle line. Can I make this guy lead? Is there a way? I would love, I guess, here's what we do. Detach. There, now I can make the CA the lead with the battleship in behind. I think. Or no. Yeah, okay. So the battleship will be in line behind the steer. And then the Dresden, and let's just set these guys to be in their own battle line, these 2 CLs. Oh, Neuhauser, it's your cruiser. Congrats, hopefully you don't die. Right, enemy smoke is spotted to the west. Battleship will form in behind that. You're second in line, so you're in better shape to survive, I think. And our CLs forming up alongside. This battleship really can't form up very well. He's just zigzagging. And now the CL is going to have to like go break because the collision mechanics in this game blow. Man, it's hard to get these guys into a goddamn line. Maybe just let the AI do it and stop putzing about. And Dresden's gaining speed. We're supposed to go west. Go west, my friend. Go west. Northwest, actually. Okay. So battleship will swing in behind, I'm guessing now. Nice. Finally, they're in line. And then our CLs are speeding up the flank of the formation as we work on finding the enemy, which is apparently to the northwest, which is the direction that we're going-ish. We currently have daytime, weather, wind, calm waves. So hopefully we spot these fuckers. Come out and fight. You actually have an advantage in heavy ships, so I would think the AI would want to fight in this battle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to when we spot the enemy, because there's a couple of minutes gap here where I don't do anything interesting. So let's jump ahead. So I'm hoping we spot the enemy, but I don't see any reason why we can't keep this thing running. Oh, ×5. That means we're closing in. There they are, boys. We spotted them. What's the lead ship here? This is the battleship or armored cruiser? I think that's the battleship. All right, lob those shells, boys. Whoa. I can't click on my ship. Get me back there. All right, where's my CA? Sail this way. Make best speed. Our battleship is opening fire. Smoke out to the horizon here. CLs are about 4.5 kilometers out. Charge, boys! Bugler, sound the charge. like in World of Warships, knowing actual... I would argue this game is probably better about naval tactics than World of Warships, but, you know, we're not sailing around islands and shit. Random mounds of granite and like 7 of them. And the enemy CL is charging in here. Let's go ahead and engage it. Don't really want to give him a clear torpedo shot. Smoke it up, boys. All right, our armored cruiser is still chilling way back here. All right, we got a penetration and a fire on the Brisbane, which is the enemy CL, which is now turning away. That's interesting. So it's like the enemy light cruiser tried to charge our own head of our formation to buy time for the Cumberland as it attempted to flee. I like that. That actually feels real. Because you can see the other enemy warships are still sailing away. So the CL was ordered to fend us off as like a rear guard, which is nice. All right, so penetration and flooding on the Dresden. They have 6 inchers, we have 4. We've got broadsides of 7 or so. I think they've got a broadside of 4 or 5 6 inchers. So in terms of a number of guns, we have the advantage. In terms of iron, they probably have the advantage. But we also have 2 ships to their 1. Ven, thank you for the follow or for the sub. I appreciate the support. Time to just do a 6-month sub, so I don't get caught for BEDs. What? All right, so we're broadsiding the Brisbane here. She's ablaze like stem to stern. Look at that. Maybe there'll be a flash fire and she'll blow up. Game does love its flash fire, so we could close and probably torpedo it. But I'd probably take more damage, and that would reduce my speed and limit my ability to catch the enemy armored cruiser and battleship. So I think we'll keep to pounding these guys at just outside torpedo range. Hit one of the engines and slow them down. Second tower destroyed. So they've got 14 4-inch guns. Hitting them. Just dying under a wall of rapid firing medium caliber guns. And they don't really have the armor to stop it either. They've got heavier guns themselves, but they don't have the armor to stop even the 4-inchers here. Okay. We'll turn in here to finish him off. He's turning away. Rotation's below 20. Almost dead in the water. Just took a flooding hit, didn't we? Or was that them? I think that was them. That was them. All right. Down to 2% flotation. One more float hit, and I think they're done. Have to be a new compartment, though. They're pumping one of their compartments out. All right, overpen and flooding. I guess to a compartment that's already flooded. All right, they're done. There goes the Brisbane. All right, armored cruiser and battleship are still way the hell back here. Doesn't help that their armored cruisers have a 3-knot advantage over my battleship. All right, let's see if we can close the distance here and maybe get a torpedo out on these CAs. If the battle ends now, it's a victory because we sank the enemy. We sank an enemy warship and so far have lost none of our own. Don't worry, boys. The flooding will put out the fires. God damn right. That reminds me, I was listening to Rick Atkinson, I believe. He has a trilogy on the Western Front in World War II. And I'm listening to the 3rd book in the series, which is like Guns at Last Light, I think, or something like that. It's the the final book in the series, which looks at D-Day to the end of the war. And there's a quote on D-Day from a British officer talking to his commandos, basically saying, "Don't worry if you get killed." It says, "Don't worry if you get killed, lads. We've got plenty of reserve troops that'll come on over you and finish the job." Just like, oh, well, gee, that's my primary concern, getting the job done. I can rest assured now that if I die, it won't matter. I'm glad you know it doesn't matter if I die. Which, like, on a grand strategic scale, okay, I get it. But maybe don't tell your soldiers that? Just a thought. We're eating shells. It's very much like that scene out of Shrek where, like, the villain character is like, "Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make." All right. Cumberland has taken one hit, it looks like, amidships. No impact to her speed. Galadia is the armored cruiser before that. I'm guessing the battleship is out ahead of the entire formation, the Neptune. Now, the battleship should only be able to make 16 knots, so my battle fleet should be able to close on them. Dresden's taken fire. We can't really shoot back in a stern chase all that well. Most of our guns are along the broadside. We do have, I think, maybe 2 guns that can fire forward in this scenario. I think these, maybe 4, although I would think that the second gun in line here would have its arc blocked. Overpen fire flooding. It's going to slow us down. Much. All right, Dresden's peeling out a line. Neuhauser, it's your go. You are the lead of the fleet. You are the vanguard, sir. Okay. All right. Neuhauser's coming up here. I don't think they've started shooting at Neuhauser yet. Come on, lads. You had plenty of time to figure out this fire control solution. Meanwhile, the battleships are... How far back are these guys still? 7 kilometers. Dear God. Meanwhile, we're 2.5, so we're about 5 kilometers behind our cruiser task force. Hey, we got a ricochet. All right, Dresden looks like she repaired her damage. Throw a smoke screen out here. They've switched their fire onto Neuhauser. Stern chase versus heavy enemy ships, huh? I can't imagine how our battleship is going to be shooting. Like, could they even see what they're... Could they differentiate at this range between our 2 ships? That was a block. I wish I knew what shell hit that. It was a nice plunging fire shot. Guessing it was the deck armor that blocked it. Doesn't say when I switch the damage or the reports onto low. All right, we're at just under 2 kilometers. Almost 1.5. Ricochet hit. Hey, nice. We got a penetration on the Cumberland with a 3-inch gun. All right, overpen on the Neuhauser. 1.5 kilometers out. Are we at least closing here? Not really. 7.5 kilometers out still. All right. 1.3. Let's try and get more of our broadside into action here. Just fire at the rear ship. Don't bother at anybody else. I'm turning out a little bit. I think I can still close on this angle, but I'll get more guns into action, so there's a better chance that I'll slow the Cumberland down. The enemy heavy ships have no torpedoes here, so if we get in torpedo range, that's good for us. Now, it does potentially expose me to more enemy fire, as I'm not sure if the enemy can fire through their own ships. I know they made some changes to the friendly fire calculations there. Cumberland suffered some rudder damage. Oof. That was a good hit by them. 4-inch shell. No, it was an 8-inch shell. With a partial pen. Well, I tried to veer out to get more guns into action, and we definitely have more guns in action, but it doesn't seem like we're getting a whole lot of hits here. Partial pen. What armor? Like, what can we hit at this range? We can't penetrate any of the citadel here, just the superstructure and the stern and bow of the ship. Throw some smoke. Hopefully that helps keep us a little bit hidden. We're just entering torpedo range. I'm going to turn toward the enemy here. We're set to normal torpedoes. So assuming we've got a good fire control, we'll shoot at them. Probably need to be a little bit closer because they're running away from us. So that means you got to be closer. Otherwise your torpedo will run out of steam. They'll outrun it. 3 penetration hits here. We're starting to get some yellows and greens on the enemy compartments. We just got our first flooding hit there. And we can penetrate any part of the enemy ship now. You can see this little green highlight here indicates we can penetrate any part of the enemy ship at this range with our main battery. Okay. Neuhauser is firing off a torpedo. Not a great angle. They're going to be able to turn away from that. But detach, turn this way. All right, I'm going to have the Neuhauser go for the lead enemy CA, which is also turning out of line. Let's see if Dresden can get some fish out. There we go. 1 fish out on the Cumberland, which sacrificed a lot of its speed to avoid the enemy torpedo, or our friendly torpedo, I guess. So let's slow things up. So it's not going to be able to reverse its turn in time. It looks like a torpedo is definitely going to hit Cumberland amidships. There we go. 1,000 damage, 2 engines damaged, rudder damaged, fire and flooding. Ooh, 1 torpedo hitting Cumberland's going under. So we got that enemy CA. Keep it up, CLs. Neuhauser just fired a fish out of its bow tube. That's going to cause the enemy to maneuver, I would expect. They're actually turning into the fish, it looks like. That's going to hit. Nice. Get the other broadside in. I don't know if we need to fire another fish at Galadia or not. Benevito, thanks for the follow. Pete Smith Hunt Forgiven, thanks for the follow as well. Sandor Shayton, thank you for the follow. All right, Lydia probably needs another fish just because a bow or a stern hit isn't going to do as much damage as the midships. Second fish there should finish it off. Yep, it did. All right, so let's go ahead and pause. We've sunk 2 CAs now. Our CLs are doing all the work. The battle fleet's still way the hell back out of line. And now we'll try and close with the enemy battleship Neptune. I mean, this is a victory either way. At this point, we could lose both CLs and it would still be a victory. Okay. All right, Dresden, try and cut them off. The one bad thing if you're trying to run away from faster ships is when you're firing at them with your stern guns only, all of your secondaries, almost all of your secondaries can't fire because most of the secondaries in ships like this are in the casemate. So your arc of fire is not directly behind you. So really the advantage for us is they've got like 2 small caliber guns and then their 1 rear battery that can shoot at us as we chase them, and that's it. So like it might seem like this is absurd. These CLs chased the enemy down for an extended chase and barely took any damage, but given the limited firepower the enemy could bring against us, not that crazy, I don't think. I think you'd be better off forming a line of battle, presenting your broadside to the enemy, and then, you know, just maneuvering proactively before fish are in the water to make torpedo shots hard. All right, we're closing. Wish I could speed this up a little bit. Dresden's also closing. .10-inch shell there. How far back are these guys? They're still lobbing shells. 10 kilometers back almost. So Neuhauser took a hit. Funnel's damaged too. That might impact speed. AI. Don't be a jerk. 1v1 me, mate. 1v1 me. Hauser's taking some damage here. We're losing some speed. We still have, in theory, more speed than the enemy. So even though we took damage and our speed is reduced, or it was reduced when we were flooding there, it wasn't reduced enough to prevent us from gaining ground. Now, one thing to consider is when you are chasing an enemy ship, if you're continuing at flank speed, that can fan the fires of a fire and make it spread to more compartments and do more damage. So just something to consider. All right. 19 knots, just shy of our max speed of 21. Looks like our max possible right now is 20 because of the funnel damage. All right, secondary gun destroyed. Got a penetration hit there with a 3-4 incher. We're almost in range for our torpedoes. So I think the strategy here, use the bow torpedo to force him to maneuver, then use the broadsides to hit him. Blocked. Did we just block a main battery shell with our frontal armor? That seems unlikely. I also like how the damage on the ship is reflected by where it's taking damage. Like, the bow is all black and battle worn, and the rear of the ship is fine. Conning tower just got hit. What's the impact of that? Conning tower damaged. Doesn't tell me what the impact of that is. I'm assuming less accurate fire? Delayed orders, maybe? I don't know. Okay. Probably says in the manual or whatever somewhere. No, it's all on you. The other cruiser's too far back to support. All right, fish away. Let's see what direction he turns. That's gonna miss to the right. Ooh, a lot of ricochets now. We're gonna be exposed to more of his secondary battery. Get the broadside out there. Penetration and flooding, that's a pretty heavy hit there. 3 compartments flooding. All right, we've got another fish in the water. I think that one's gonna miss. Try and get our other broadside in there. Heavy flooding damage on the Neuhauser at this point. Is buying time for the Dresden to come up, though. Almost no speed. Gonna lose away rapidly. Get back behind the stern where he can hurt you less. I don't know that you can get another fish off here. It keeps running well past the torpedo range. I wonder if that's a bug. Yeah, that didn't hit. All right, Neuhauser, get yourself out of the fight. Dresden. Oh God, that was a bad hit. Get out of there, Neuhauser. Don't sink. I know it's called the New, but I refer to it as the Neuhauser because it's named after my mod New. Or Neuhauser. Alright. The New's pulled back, tending to her wounds. Did that get them any closer? They gained about 1 kilometer on the enemy from that whole maneuvering situation. So the enemy battleship did what the CAs couldn't and avoided the torpedoes. Good for it. All right, Dresden, your turn. Get up there, sir. Oh God, main gun destroyed, 100 damage. We damaged the enemy main rear turret, so that might slow rate of fire or something, I'm not sure. We're taking flooding in 2 forward compartments, so we try and close. I'm not sure what the damage to the rear turret does for them. I guess it could impact accuracy as well. Got to get that battleship, boys. Ugh. Conning tower destroyed as well. Still making 20 knots. Ricochet. Block. I really can't hurt him very much from this angle. Partial pen damaged an enemy casemate. You can see I can hit the 2 rearmost compartments and maybe partial pens on the second set of compartments in. At this angle, we will get a lot of ricochets. I don't think it'll sink my whole fleet. It doesn't have time. Oh, God. Right, we did fire a torpedo off the bow. I didn't realize that. Ow! All right, another fish is out. They're just able to maneuver so much more effectively than I can. Or more effectively than I can aim, I guess. Dresden's in trouble. Well, Neptune's probably going to survive at this point. Neptune can't catch her. We only have 20 minutes left. I guess we'll call off the chase and try and survive. Because he's already out of torpedo range. Turn away, turn away. Show your rear to the enemy. Run away, run away. Live to fight another day. All right, Dresden, get out of there. Goddamn Neptune. Living up to its name, its mantra as a battleship. Still, it's going to be a pretty big-ass victory for us. They lost 2 armored cruisers and a light cruiser. So far, we have lost nothing, anyway. We'll see if the Dresden gets hit, but I'm guessing she's safe. Time is running out. To who? Like, according to who? All right, 7 kilometers. We did gain a kilometer, but I don't think it's going to matter. All right, we'll end the battle. Victory for us. They did get 14 victory points. We got 1,500. The News suffered moderate damage. The Brisbane, Galatia, and Cumberland all sunk. We can see in terms of XP, 13 for both of our, or 25 for the New, 13 for the Dresden. The British battleship Neptune gained 13. The Kaiser Wilhelm battleship gained 1.21, and the Stier gained 0.1, while the enemy ships who were sunk gained nothing. Okay. End that battle. All right, so we have 10,000 victory points to just 700 for the enemy. They're down to 9 armored cruisers against our 7. In terms of our fleet, a couple of ships will be repaired next month. One ship looks like it's going to take 2 months. Are we building anything? I don't think we are. I'd like to get better engines before I design anything, but the war might be over by then. We're also working on a new cruiser hull. Move forward to October. I don't see any battles being fought in October. Looks like it's a quiet turn. Research makes more progress. 4 months on the cruiser design, apparently. That's nice. That popped up quickly. Torpedo boat ambush. We have an armored cruiser that's being ambushed by 6 enemy torpedo boats. Oh, shit. I'm scared if I auto-resolve, but let's see what happens. Victory! Nice. All right, even on the auto-resolve, that works for us. We sank 1 enemy torpedo boat and inflicted damage on others, and our own ship didn't get hurt at all. It's a minor victory, only 122 victory points, but the enemy loses a torpedo boat, and we lose nothing. December of 1890, still no more battles. We have our whole fleet at sea. It seems like the AI is the one staying in port, but they're not staying in port enough to, like, get blockaded because their fleet's not strong enough yet for that. All right, so January of 1891, the war continues. The enemy's gaining victory points. I'm not sure where. I don't know if, like, it doesn't say. I don't know if they gain victory points just by not dying, but it looks like there's going to be a convoy battle off the British coast. We're going to be attacking enemy merchant ships. We're going to be outgunned. They'll have a CA and 2 CLs coming to the rescue. It's a vulnerable convoy. And I think what we're going to do is once we get this new cruiser hull, a 4,000-ton heavy cruiser, then we can design a new armored cruiser in 1 month. Maybe we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait for the 3 months to get the triple expansion engines as well to get the most out of our propulsion there. And maybe we'll actually see them in combat before the war ends because we've had quite a few quiet months. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, a game in early access and being developed by Game Labs. It's available on Steam. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.